back then, because the storytelling was so like, it wasn't just promos and, you know, moments backstage that set matches up. They had actual matches that told stories. They painted full on art with a wrestling canvas, and that's so sick. So sick.
We went back a few months ago and we watched Brett versus Sean versus Razor in the ladder match on the same card, and that's brilliant. And
Yeah.
I think it's 20 minutes long. They don't do anything too outlandish or too I don't know, over the top with the ladder, right? It's all just psychology and the struggle, and I'm trying to get to the top of this and win this belt. And then you compare it to something like what I never watched it, like the Lucha Brothers against like the Young Bucks, and they're doing triple somersaults and smacking each other in the face with the ladder. It's like, calm down, lads. Just, you know, that bump card, that's not going away. Calm down, lads, you know. Lizzy, you mentioned there, you said you know what you're good at and you know what you're not good at all. What do you think you are good at?
I know I'm good at my pace. My pacing's one of the things that I work on quite a lot, because I find when I watch a lot of matches, especially, you know, around the British scene at the minute, there's so many spots that get rushed and so many spots that don't have moments where like, and I think this could connect back to me saying with the old wrestling, like I live for moments in matches where if I'm a heel, I've got moments to get my shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I think just little things like knowing when to respond to an audience, or like, because that all falls under the entertainment side of things. And I always try my best to get people involved when it comes to shows, because they've travelled, they've bought tickets, you know, they might have worked all week, they've looked forward to coming to watch the show. So even if I'm a heel, people know what my role is. So if you're going to give me shit, I'm going to give you a little bit of shit back. Hope you don't take it to heart, because I'm just doing my job. Do you know what I mean? But if you've bought a ticket and you're willing to travel to this show, which, by the way, there's a fucking crisis going on in the world with money, and so I appreciate that. So I always try and find time to study the wrestlers that would do that shit. So I feel like I'm all right at me, you know, me crowd work and me pacing. They're my two strengths, I think. And just the fact that like I don't really give a shit if I get clocked, or, you know, like I'm not in it to say, oh, I got good status from being a wrestler. Like I absolutely love wrestling. I love what wrestling brought me in my life, and I love when I first got in a wrestling ring, how I felt. So that to me will always be the main goal for me. Like I wanna connect back to that side of myself. So I always try my best to have fun and, like, you know, don't take anything too serious. And if I get clocked, I get clocked. I'm not in ballet. And like, yeah, I'll a few people moan, and I'm like, well, just get the fuck out of wrestling then, because, you know, I'm not here to dim my shit down because you're too worried about getting clocked by something. If that's the case, then you need to, like, I'm extra safe, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of flinching and like shit like this that goes on that creates unnecessary things that happen in matches. And then sometimes you stood there looking like, oh shit, I look like a bad worker here because this person's bust, or, you know, little things like that. So I think having a good voice to back yourself up as well, like, and I don't just mean that to be a knobhead. I mean, like, I got the piss took out of me a fair bit when I started wrestling by people that had been wrestling longer than me, and like, and I didn't want to say too much, and like, I was really young and that. And this one day I was like, nah, my dad told me don't give a fuck about how old they are, how big they are. If they coming to you with a problem outside that ring, then you deal with it with as the woman you are. So there was a few times when I had to stand up to people and be like, well, you know, it takes two people in the fucking ring. It's 50-50 just because I'm younger than you don't. So I know my strengths was, you know, backing up what I can say, and also, you know, actually putting on matches where I want them to be good with people. Like, I actually want to make people look good. I don't want to just get my shit in and make sure my shit looks good. Like, this is a time like a 50-50. This is a dance. I'm gonna make sure that whatever story we need to tell is told in the proper way, and no one goes away looking like shit unless there's a storyline here. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
And I
and I was
think
gonna say you throw a mean forearm as well. Like
I
that
love
was
a good
from
forearm.
yeah. I was at the Progress show and like, man, but yeah, come on, Cranji. I thought you're tough. Like, and
I
I thought
absolutely
at
love
least
a
like
good
yeah,
forearm.
she's yeah good. Go on, yeah. That sounds stiff
Been
in a nice way.
practicing them since I was 14. They're my favourites. Them. That's my go-to.
And you, I suppose, like with the accent, right, as well. It's that much more emphatic when you are
Everyone just thinks I'm
going in
angry
with a
all the
crowd.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah,
with loads shipping in, and you're like, sorry, what? You got a problem? And
yeah.
then it encourages more people to jump on board as well.
Exactly. I love it because people will say to me all the time, you don't even need to use the fact that you're from Liverpool for cheap eat anymore. I'm like, mate, the minute I open my voice, it's there. I don't have to do anything about the football club anymore. Like I don't have to do anything. As soon as I open my mouth, it's there. It's crazy.
It's like I said, it's kind of automatic now, right? People are gonna
I
sign
love
on
it
for it.
though. I absolutely love it.
It's brilliant. Um, you've got a big match coming up. Do you want to plug the match this week, and we'll try and clip it up? Are you? Is it the session?
Progress session
Martin,
with
yeah.
Martina. Yes. I'm actually buzzing for this because they asked us to go out to Dubai last year, and we did. Me and Session Moth over there, and I remember it being one of my favourite matches of last year. But I was gassing in the heat so much, like it was red hot over there. So I'm looking forward to being able to do it at, you know, my pacing, like, because I've got a good few cool ideas. I've been watching some of her stuff recently, and, like, outside the ring, we've actually became really good mates. And I think once you become good mates with someone outside the ring, when you wrestle each other, your matches go from, like, what they were to 10 times better because you're not worried about, like, anything. You just literally want to have a good match with your mate. So, like, I'm really looking forward to it, but at the same time, like for last year, I was overlooked quite a fair bit with just a few things with progress. So I want to be proving points every time I'm there now. Like that time that I went away, I upped my game. That time that I went away, I took some shit away that didn't work for me, and I added some new stuff. And like, so I'm quite excited to start like telling some new stories there and actually wrestling decent people. I've had two good matches now, obviously, since coming back to progress. So it's gonna be class, I think. Yeah.
How would you rate the current state of the UK independent scene? Do you think it is? It seems to be going in a certain trajectory again.
I think it was looking really positive, and then one PW or that shit with that. So I think people are kind of just like, oh, Brit rest, like that's what they think it is now, and like people seem to forget about the other little ones that don't get the platform one PW had,
Yeah.
but they're fucking killing it month in month out. They're booking all these unreal matches that you're probably not going to see anywhere else. So I do think if you actually look around properly, like open your eyes around the scene, you'll find like why there's actually been some hidden gems on these shows that I've not known about. Because it's overshadowed by all the shit that goes on.
Yeah, 1PW was kind of tarnished. You know what? When 1PW was first in business, what, 04, 5, 6, I ended up actually buying all the leftover merch from Stephen Gauntlet back in his house in Donny. God, that was a bit dodgy. Ended up in the wrong
Bruh,
house. Yeah, that was a bit.
bruh.
Knock on the door. Excuse me, mate. Can I have all this wrestling gear? Sorry, who are you? You got the wrong house,
Fuck
mate.
me.
I think it was a drug dealer in Donny. Get out. Yeah, sorry, mate. Cheers about that. But yeah, it has left a bit of a bad taste. But that's just
a,
part of
a
the
bad
course.
smell, really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go into detail what happened with me and that because I'll do that when the time's right. Do you know what I mean? But he is, yeah, I'll just leave it at the fact that no one should give him any fucking money, and people should be very careful with his manipulation. Full stop. You know what I mean?
I
Because
want.
boy, oh boy.
Save the DMs for another time. Yeah, exactly. And I suppose the UK scene aside and further afield internationally, do you have your eyes set on anywhere, country or otherwise, territory?
Yeah, like I'm really planning to go to the US. I keep saying it and I also keep putting it off myself. I think as a wrestler, you don't really, I think because I don't know many, I know a fair few talents over that live in the States, but I think because I'm not very good with um places and I'm all right with travel, but like getting to and from places in foreign countries to me, I'm like, I get a little bit anxious about it. So at first I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then I put myself off and I was like, yeah, I'll work towards it. But I think if we constantly do that and we wait to be ready, there'll never be a day where we are. Like we'll just keep going and going and going. And like in the end you'll miss opportunity after opportunity. Like I had so many chances last year to fly out, and I did just weren't mentally right. The timing of them wasn't mentally right for me, and I think now I look back, I'm like, I'm quite glad that I missed out because I don't know if I would have performed well as me or like them questions you always ask yourself. But I have definitely got something lined up for January, but whether or not it happens, please keep your fingers crossed for me.
Touch wood, absolutely. We'll see what
It's
happens.
mad out here for independent wrestlers. Like there's 1 minute there's something absolutely 100% certain, and then the next minute it's like, oh, we've had to change the day for this. So it's just sometimes it's just about keeping your mindset completely positive and hoping that the next opportunity is where you've been wishing to be or hoping to get to. It's quite tough.
You've got a tour guy here waiting for you. Lizzy will show you the ropes. She's well connected anyway. She's part of
Yes,
the best,
listen.
she's part of the best in business.
I will say though, like it's not. I don't want to use the word intimidating, but it is difficult because you're not just like going somewhere as a tourist, right? You're
Yeah,
like, okay, I want to come to the U.S. You're not just going to come here for one show. You want to be booked
yeah,
properly in a few shows. It's like, how are you going to get from point A to point B? We drive on the right side. You guys drive on the left side.
exact. All that stuff. Yeah, you're
Little
so right.
like
Yeah, yeah. For so long I was like, oh, yeah. But then my mum was like, just go, just do it. You'll be fine. You'll be
that.
fine. Like, and I was like, yeah, it's easy for you to say, mum, when you're just FaceTiming me, like, yeah, yeah, go on, you're fine, and I'm stuck there like having an actual panic attack because I don't know where I'm going.
That same happened to me. I moved, so I've been in Gibraltar for 11 years, and I was 24 when I moved here, and I tried to find the flat in Spain. Got completely. This is like before Google Maps and stuff, right? I ended up having like a big breakdown outside of a bingo hall with two cases
Not the
next to
bingo
me.
hall.
The bingo hall, yeah, not in
Bingo of all
Philadelphia.
places.
And I'm just there going, what am I doing? I'm in Spain. I can't speak the language, and I ended up just getting like weeping to a taxi driver. Can you just take me to this address? And it was like literally 2 minutes, like round the corner. Fucking idiot, man.
That is so sad.
And I hated
So
the first
sad.
year. I hated the first year. I was so homesick, but 11 years in, we're still going strong. So it was one of those things where you just got to do it and then
Yeah,
figure it out afterwards. Like you'll
yeah. It should
adapt.
be. It should be one of them where, oh, I'll figure it out when I'm there. It should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just come. The rest of the stuff will work itself out.
Right. That's it. I'm coming.
Well, she's coming.
Mine's made.
We'll see. We'll tune in with you in 6 months' time, see where you are in the world. Do you want to watch some wrestling?
Yeah, it'll be ready. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to log it. It's sad. I had an issue.
Oh,
I don't know which one of you guys I spoke to.
me.
So,
It was Jack.
I'm Ric Flair. Yeah, I'm Jack.
okay, Jack. I had a
I'm not
problem.
the
I'm Ric
age.
Flair.
Yeah, it says incorrect, but I know it's not.
Right. I think it might be on YouTube.
Is it?
I think so. The Fed sticks nice things like that now and again to keep people happy.
So yeah, sometimes the people please, don't they, just to keep people on the app.
Just stop people
What?
shouting at them.
Right, let me pop his ear so I can type.
This is like the best laid plans of my submission.
I bet this is the most randomest pod you have done with someone that's not organised whatsoever.
Look,
This is the first time we've ever had a guest, so it's the first time with a 4-man booth.
You're doing amazing. Don't worry.
To be honest, Lizzy, we normally just drink a lot of wine and talk shit and then stick an old episode of Raw on, or like 80s World Championship Wrestling. I'm like you. I didn't until I was like until lockdown came and I was really bored, and, borderline depressed. Started watching all the old stuff. Like, oh, this is actually better than the current stuff. This is brilliant.
It really is, isn't it?
It is.
Well,
it's like, because like I feel like they did a lot. The character development at that time was just so different too, right? Especially like during this time, they were coming out of like the goofy, cartoonish characters, and they're just like building people up a little bit differently. So, and I think like we were saying earlier, like we can all understand a family feud type of angle, because even if you've never been personally involved in one, you've seen one, you understand it. There's always like a little bit of sibling rivalry for the most part. So we get it, and
that's true.
I understand Owen. God bless his soul.
Owen was very justified in his resentfulness of the older brother, right?
Exactly.
Do you want to try and log in again? I sent you my logins, right?
Yeah, I've just tried again, but it says the same thing again.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm typing it wrong. I compared them. I don't think I am.
Or do you want to pick something else we can watch instead? I mean, if you want, we can pick one of your matches.
No.
Don't do that. Don't do that to the poor girl.
I will sit here like this the whole time. I'm looking at Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels WWF Championship. I think that one would be a good one.
That's a good one. All right, where's that from?
Right, so this is on YouTube, and it's 8 months ago from WWF Attitude Videos 2.
What show was it from?
I think
it's from WWF Raw, it says.
I have to say, they wrestled the pay-per-view before Shawn won the title in Mania 12 in your house.
I scrolled past that one, yeah.
For something like that.
Is that? Do you want to watch that one?
No, that's fine. You send us a link, and I'll share it on.
Okay, well, we'll go with Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels WWF Championship one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So do you want me to send it through to you now, or are you finding it?
Send me that on Insta, and I'll share it on, and we can all.
Right now, because I'm gonna have to come off this.
Oh really? Okay.
Okay, done.
Hold on. So I think I might have found it. I think I might have found it. Hold on.
Gigi, you find it, stick it in the WhatsApp group.
Let me just load it up.
I am a nightmare. Sorry.
No, so you're fine.
This is Owen Hart versus Shawn Michaels WWF Championship, WWF Raw 1997, WWF Attitude Videos 2. It's that one, yeah?
9 minutes 52 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can explain to us why Shawn's so great.
I mean, I'll try.
Lizzy will back you up.
Tell me where to press play.
Right, let me send it to you guys on WhatsApp.
It sounds like I'm in the pictures in here.
In the pictures. Do you know what? Yeah. I still call it that, and no, not many people do.
Right, I've sent it to you on WhatsApp now.
My mum is such a Yorkshireman. We're after pictures.
I love saying the picture. I can't say the cinema.
After the cinema, it sounds very formal.
It's not a Scouse thing to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
This was when, oh my god! So
you'll
this
have to instruct Vinny to cut this out. I'm going to top up my drink before the match starts.
Good man,
I know it's only 9 minutes long, but
this is when Owens just there's talk about he was going to leave, right? And he comes back and signs a nice big contract extension to try and make him stay. This is, I think, 3 weeks after the Montreal screw job.
Is this 3 weeks after?
I think so, yeah.
Crazy.
Around this time, I would watch Sky Sports 3. Friday night, 10 o'clock, every week, like pleading with my dad to let me stay up. This is my era, man, honestly. And then I'd be cleaning the house on a Saturday, Sunday morning, just so I could watch Livewire on Sky One at 11 o'clock. Just any extra wrestling I can watch, because this is like 20 years ago, right? 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's
not
a long
YouTube.
time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an old man.
No, I never meant it like that. I just meant it a long time ago.
Look, I'm thinking, hey, you're 24. This is before you were born. Jesus, God, I do feel old. But yeah, you didn't have access to everything like you did back then, like you do now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is true.
we're pleading.
I remember like spending way too much time like trying to find like old pay-per-views and stuff when I was like 10 years old, or I don't know, maybe like 15, but so fucking hard to like find any videos, and now you've just got everything at your fingertips.
Whenever
That's
you want
amazing.
it, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to find, you could just go find it. But back then it was so hard to find anything, any type of wrestling that wasn't on the telly. It was so hard to find.
I got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, right? And my 3-year-old was sat here with me this evening, and usually like they just watch stuff on Netflix, right? As soon as one bit's over, the next one comes. I just had the TV on watching The Simpsons because he was up late. I'm like, we're not fucking watching Peppa Pig at 8 o'clock at night. So I put The Simpsons on Sky One. It went to an ad break. He was like, Daddy, what happened to The Simpsons? I'm like, this is what we call adverts. Like, you don't know what this is, but
this
that's
is
what
adverts,
used to happen. Yeah.
Teaching kids what adverts on, and you're like, why?
Mad.
Horrible.
Right, we're gonna click. You all got it loaded up, then, right?
Ready
Yeah,
to go?
I'm ready to go.
I'm hoping Vinny cuts this like whole like 5-6 minutes out. We did nothing.
You've got more faith than I have. No offense, Vinny.
Right, Vinny, coming back in.
He's actually supposed to edit this tomorrow. We'll see. Right, we'll click play in 3,
We love you, Vinny.
2, 1. This is when Owen came back as the Black Cat, right? The sole survivor. And Sean called him a nugget on TV. You're like a nugget. You like that turd that just won't flush away. And then he was ruined straight away. Paul.
Owen's got a bit of Paddy Pimblett about him, right?
Yeah, he actually has. Yeah.
I thought you were saying he's got a bit of timber on him. Then, like, he's looking a bit thick here. That as
Do you know who Paddy Pimblett is?
Yeah, he's the Scouse UFC guy with the most ridiculous haircut. Like, what was he doing? It's like a proper 90s Barnett, yeah.
With his little bowl head.
The bowler, right? What's that all about?
He's got a little bowl head, hasn't he?
He's a funny guy. There
was a Scouser in the office I used to work in, and he'd say the exact same thing. If you want to insult someone, you're a lizard. Like, what?
Lizard. That's all those do, lizard or mushroom.
I've not heard mushroom.
You little lizard. But then they turned it into like a running joke where it was like sweaty lizard. So now it's, if you get called a lizard, it's not that bad, but it's sweaty lizard. It's audible. Do you know what I mean?
Different variations. Right, so
can I just tell you guys something? Like, as an American, some of the like insults that you guys throw me, like, they were just like so interesting, because to us we would just never say that type of thing.
I always wonder what we must sound like to use over there, because it must be like, what are they even saying to each other? You know?
The worst, the hardest insults are if you don't swear. Like, if you call someone something a bit different and weird, they get more offended. Like, just tell me to fuck off. Get off.
Right.
Go get the bus home. Like, what?
Yeah.
But calling someone weird or something like that, it's different, isn't it? What would be your go-to?
Instead of calling someone a lizard, just be like, oh, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, just like that type of stuff.
Too strong. I mean, it's just
it
loses the impact.
We just go right for the jugular. That's the problem.
But it's weird, right?
Straight
like, you call someone, in England, you call someone a lizard, and that's really offensive. You call someone a cunt if they're like your mate. Whereas in America, you call someone a cunt, you're gonna get knocked out or shot.
So funny enough, like, I didn't really grow up in a super like swearing environment. Like, my parents were like, really serious about, not swearing and that sort of thing. And using the C word, I'm also like I wasn't super like ingrained in the American culture yet, because like my parents are foreign. So like, I didn't realize how bad of a word the C word is. It's actually worse than calling someone a bitch here. Like if you call somebody that, like you really like you hate them, like you want to cut them bad to call them that.
Really?
Yes, but like you guys just throw it around all the time, and I'm like,
But I use it more if it makes them something stupid, like what a silly cunt. Like it's used as like kind of like a term of endearment, almost like look at this silly twat. What's he doing?
Yeah.
It's not
Look
like
at this
you.
knobhead.
Yeah, what
It
a
does
knobhead.
depend on the tone. This is quite a fun match that you chose, Lizzie, because you were speaking earlier about like how Sean can just bump around and make someone look like $1 million, and that's 100% what he's doing in the opening of this match. Like
He's absolutely like he doesn't care, does he? Like
This is peak Sean. In my head,
his
like
selling is absolutely class.
oh, Triple H just come out now. You know, Owen's gonna get hit with one of those crutches.
Oh, absolutely.
Is this in Memphis? There's lots of Elvis lookalikes on the front row. Yeah, but I mean, Sean was. This was a dark time for Sean, right? This was he's back.
he lost
Wasn't
his
it?
smile.
No, that was in March. That was when he didn't want to put Brett over at WrestleMania. Like,
Will you just stop, guys?
It's true.
He was depressed. Maybe he was depressed. Okay. Mental health is important.
It is, but what did I say that wasn't true?
I just keep going, please. Let's talk about the match.
Anyway, but saying that this
He's
was
so good.
this led to
Class. I'm robbing that.
What was that? They pushed him onto the guardrail.
Yeah, that was sick. I'm robbing that.
Are you do we need to get you a heater or something, Lizzie? Do you have anyone because you do a lot of intergender stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
How does that compare?
I try to, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Like I did a lot of stuff with Mad Kate, which just stemmed from he called me old online, and I was like, "You little shit! Like what the fuck?" And it was like, it's just like not unlike that. Like I was like, "No, I've got a complex now. Do I look like a pensioner? Like what the fuck?" And he was like, "No, don't be silly. It's just because you've been wrestling for a while. Like I think you're older than what you are." And I was like, come on, like, don't call me old, bro. Like, and then I wrestled at Resurgence at Gangsta Kanji, and he ring announced it, and he was like, hailing from the old women's home. And I was fumed. So I was like, I wish I could do some more stuff with my kid because he's just class. He's a great character to like bounce off like that. And I did some stuff recently with Session Moth and Gene Money, obviously, for the Defy show. But I don't really get many chances to. I'd love more chances to work intergender matches. Really want to wrestle Denise. I think that would be class.
Don't see Sean do
That would be
DDT
really
very
good.
often. Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be quite more prominent, I think, in the UK. I mean, Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander, right, are going everywhere, taking out.
Yeah.
I think they were in Australia for a week. They do a lot of GCW stuff. It does seem to be on the rise, so just got to sort that tag partner out.
I mean, if the opportunity was there, I would constantly be like, yeah. It's just that like not many people book it. So, I really wish I could go to all these promoters and be like, by the way, I really want to work so and so and so and so. But like for a while when I worked with like years and years ago, I would do, camp shows. And it was quite cool. We did because there was sometimes not women available to work through the week when kids were off school. So we would do like open challenges, and then a female would open the challenge, like answer the open challenge. And sometimes you get like the odd complaint, because obviously it would be like a camp show. But a lot of the time it would be like parents and young girls coming up and being like, oh, this was amazing. Like it showed that our girl is strong in this area, and like and I absolutely loved that. And I think like that was a good message to send, like, because it wasn't, we didn't do anything like that was over the top, because I was still relatively like young. I was like 17 or 18. So, but we just made it be fun for kids to watch, but also empowering for young girls as well. So it was like, I would love to be able to do that now as the woman I am now. You know what I mean? Like it's class. I love doing shit like that.
I was actually going to ask because you spoke about like at your lowest point when you had the car crash, about how you still got like shitty comments from people. And I thought it was really kind of inspirational almost how you spoke about turning that into like a positive by being like, there's always going to be people who are going to be dicks to you.
Yeah.
So being someone now that like little girls kind of look up to when they see you in the ring, like, have you had any kind of like funny or like cute interactions with girls? And also like, do you like enjoy that pressure of being a role model, or like what's your kind of feeling about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I love that all the time. Like there was one recently, and it was about 2 pages long, and it was just a message off a mum. The one that stood out to me the most was about the young girl getting bullied, and she finally had the courage to give some shit back to her bullies, because I had told her, you know, like it's important to stand up for yourself, no matter how big or, you know, because once you stand up for yourself, then they will leave you alone. And after that, I think, you know, I was like, but, you know, I didn't want to take any heat if anything bad happened. So I was like, you know, take this with a pinch of salt. Like, only you know yourself. And then I got a message a few days later, like, she took your advice and she no longer gets bullied. Thank you so much. Like, and that to me is that them stories are worth more than like how many titles you win and shit like that, you know.
100%. Love
But
that.
that much was class.
It's frustrating, right? Because we've done it before. Like we've watched some Raw shows, and you get to like a main event, and you're like, this main event looks sick. They've got like Triple H versus Mankind versus Undertaker. I wonder what's gonna happen, and it always fucking ends in a schmoz.
yeah, all the fucking time.
Got to buy that pay-per-view, brother. Save that match for the big bucks.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that you tune back in next week.
Absolutely, episodic television. Still class. Sean Owen to the greatest ever. Fair play. How did you get on at All In, Lizzie? Did you make a cameo?
So it was actually really interesting what happened. So there was, obviously we had quite a few of us girls there as extras, but they also had, you know, a few models from a modeling agency as well. And so people rehearsed what was going on, like for the entrance and stuff. And then I don't know, it was so mad. Like I felt a little bit sick, and it just took me a bit longer than all the other girls to go get an outfit. You know, the dresses that everyone was wearing. So I finally got my dress, and he was a little rip in it. So I had to take it to the seamstress, and then the seamstress like sewed it back together for me.
Was it a
And I
good
got
frock?
sent on my way. And oh shit, hold on.
You're all right. You're still there. So was it a good frock?
But yeah. So by the time I went back, I was like, they were like, oh, someone's took a mask, and like, so there wasn't enough costumes for all of the extras to be involved, so I didn't actually do anything. I just got to experience the fun of like being backstage and seeing how it was run, and like 80,000 people, that was like crazy for a wrestler to be in front of 80,000 people. That's a dream, that. So like, fair play to that. You know what I mean? That was class.
Has that given you like an inspiration to kind of, I mean, when you see people like Saraya and you see people like Toni Storm from the UK, and obviously Jamie would have been there if she had been fit to be, and when you see those girls from the UK doing that and seeing that crowd, what does that kind of do to you?
It's like, I don't know if it's the same for everyone else, but it's like motivation. It gives me like a little rocking on my ankles to go and like absolutely do better. Like I always set little goals for myself anyway, but that night was like, if this isn't what you're aiming to be doing as a wrestler, then there's absolutely no point doing what you do. Like that was, for me, that would be my absolute dream, and that was just casual for them. You know what I mean? Like that's class. So I think that would be, that's like motivated me to want to like do better in every aspect, because I want that to be my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter who I work for, I just want to be doing what I love in front of that many people that appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like I seen so many fans that night buzzing. Like I left, and I seen like there was a big group of people actually having a wrestling match themselves. Everyone was involved. There was a referee. There was all people cheating. Like it was just class to see it. It was boss.
We flew in. We all flew in for it. We like me and John live in Gibraltar. We both flew in. Lizzy flew in from America. This was a big
flew in
weekend.
from America. What do you mean?
Oh, Christ, you
I
did.
was
Of
in
course,
New
yeah,
York.
yeah. Them two went to the Rev Pro show on the Saturday rather than go to the Progress one, and I tried to sneak in. Got told to fuck off, but
Aww.
I know.
Boo.
He'd had too many beers at that point.
I was struggling. Yeah, I got kicked out of this bars. I mean, I'm going in here. Not tonight, boss man. Not tonight. All right, never mind. Cheers, pal.
Fell asleep at the bar after the show.
It was a long day. 2 shows though, wasn't it? I was trying
This
to.
is
Oh,
what
by the way,
happens. This is
first
what
time
happens when you're a dad of a young kid and you get a weekend away.
free pass.
Yeah.
First time meeting Vicky Haskins as well. What a sweetheart she is.
Lizzie, we've lost you on
Your
audio.
sound's gone, Lizzie.
Your sound's gone. We can hear you like super faintly.
I don't have no idea
There you
what's
go.
going
You're
on.
on. You're back.
You're back.
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
saying
what a woman she is.
a lot of love for Vicky Haskins. And the
In
pair of
every way.
Anne, Mark and Vicky, they're a great pair. And I think were they back? Are they back on the show this weekend as well?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. I hope so, because he's an asset to any show that he really does, let's be honest. And so is Vicky. Like, I could stand and look at Vicky all day. Like, Vicky's so cool. So I say to Sasha Moff last time I spoke to her, because so when 1PW were like cool, and they got Mickie James in for me to wrestle, that was for me like childhood Lizzie was screaming, and that whole day I felt so nervous. And Vicky Haskins was backstage, and I remember her just like she just gave me like a little shoulder rub. And like, I don't know, I can't explain it. You know, when you just know someone is genuinely, genuinely concerned, like they're thinking about you and they actually want you to do well. Like, you can feel it from them. She is that type of person. Like, there's no motive, there's nothing, no hidden agenda. She is just what you see is what you. She's a lovely person, and like I'll always like sing her praises any chance I get, because I've not known Vicky that long, but the time that I have known her, she's made me feel like I've known her a lifetime. You know, lovely woman.
You mentioned that Mickie James match. First of all, how was it when you saw the promo? She got on you. I'm gonna come for you, Lizzy Evo. Like, me. And how was it wrestling her?
It was absolutely nuts. I remember showing it to my mum, and my mum went, because I never told them nothing. Like, growing up, me and my mum would watch wrestling together. We loved the fucking Mickie James and Maria and all that lot, like Michelle McCool, Beth Phoenix. We had a ball, and I showed it to her, and I never said that she was going to say my name. I just went, Mum, get on this, and showed her this Mickie James promo. She was watching it with me, and she just went, hold this face like this. I'm like, is he talking about you then? And I went, yeah, Mum, she's just mentioned me. And from then on, that was when like I got excited, because every day I had my mum like telling all of her mates around here, do you remember that wrestler we used to watch? Yeah, she's called our Lizzie out. And I was thinking, oh, bless her. She's so cute. But she made me get like dead excited about it. And I was like, you know, childhood Lizzie would be dead cool. Like, you know, I was trying to brush it off like it wasn't a big deal, but let's be realistic. Mickie James is like a legend for women in wrestling, and that's actually quite sick that, you know, I got to work at. As soon as I seen the promo, I was like, what is my life? This is actually mad. It was like, you know, when you go from doing normal shows on a weekend and you kind of wrestling the same people, maybe not every week, but, you know, you'll wrestle the same person sometimes twice a month if you're booked like that well. So it's like to get a Mickie James match bang smack in the middle of all them matches. Like, I think the next night I was somewhere else, but it was like I was still on the high from that one, and I was like, this is absolutely unreal. That like I'm still thinking about that one, and I'm going to do another one. Like, wrestling's so rewarding sometimes, because why else would we do it? Do you know what I mean? It was a nice little feeling to see the graphic get posted online, and then message me and be like, oh, you got to respond to this, by the way. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to say back to Mickie James, mate? You know what I mean? It's
So
wild.
Lizzie, so obviously like wrestling Mickie James is like a bucket list type of match, right?
Yes.
Do you have other people on your list of like goals or bucket lists, or even like fantasy type of, you know, bookings that you would do for yourself?
So I wrestled Jamie Hayter like years and years ago before, any and was a thing before NXT UK, before AEW. We actually wrestled for a camp show in Fairham,
Wow.
and we had like 900 people there, maybe like 1,000, and it was fucking class. It was sick. I remember being like, she's unreal. So I think now, with their experience and my experience from being away a long time from like the scene of that, I think we'd have a really good one now. And I'd like to think that I would hold my own against like Sasha Banks, but that's a fantasy match that one day I'm like, I'll be ready for that one day. But I think she's still another level. Do you know what I mean? Like there's levels to this game, and I wouldn't like to put myself in with someone I know is gonna run absolute circles around me. But I would also like to test myself, because that's what wrestling is. So Ember Moon was one. When she was with WWE, I was like, every match I watched, I was like, yeah, absolutely class. I wanna wrestle her. Rhea Ripley, she was another one when I watched the stuff at NXT UK, the way she would, be there for people and take people's stuff, and then also the way she delivered her own. I always just look at what would my stuff look like with their stuff, and would that sell tickets? Like, I don't really have specifics, but I have ones that I'm like, oh, I think we would do well. I think we would do well. But my ultimate fantasy is Sasha Banks or Maria Kanellis, because Maria is me childhood fucking favourite, because I loved her. And then now growing up, Sasha Banks, the way she is as a character, I think is class. So either of them two.
I would love to see you against Jordan Grace, just you two throwing
Yeah.
forearms at each other, like just
Yeah, we'd just have a forearm off, wouldn't we?
just like in AEW,
someone
like
had
now
no
it's
jaw
just like
left.
a chop off, like you two just lobbing forearms at each other all night. That would be class.
That would be sick.
She seems awesome as well.
I think Jamie's on another level. I think she's
Jackson loves his shake.
Jamie's absolutely class.
She's phenomenal.
Class. Like I'm not one of them female wrestlers that would say no. She is, I believe, one of the best that has ever like been trained and came and left this country. Like, she is so fucking good at what she does. She deserves everyone's recognition, because I feel like a lot of people know that she's class, but a lot more people should talk about how class she is.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, because she kind of came in as almost like an understudy to Britt Baker, right? Britt was like the absolute queen of that division for a good while, right? There wasn't a lot of depth in that division. And she came in and she was supposed to be at a certain level, but she got herself so over that they couldn't do anything but put the title on her. I mean, that's the level that she's at,
Absolutely, 100%.
So,
it's that saying, isn't it? Be so good that they can't deny you. Like, there was not everything that she brought. She could deliver a promo. She could like an entrance. She always everything. I'm not gonna. I look like a little fangirl. Yeah, use pack it in.
That's normally me. I'm the Jamie Hayter stand here, so
we can listen to this
She's
all day.
class.
Don't worry.
I can tell that you obviously know good wrestling if you absolutely like Jamie Hayter, because say to everyone, any girls that want to train like that type of wrestling, I always say go watch Jamie Hayter matches.
You got to remember
don't
that
watch the match, watch her.
You got to remember that for Jack, 50% of it is because she had red hair, so that was what sold it for Jack. And then the wrestling ability was kind of like an afterthought.
That was a bonus.
Good coincidence.
So the three of us had like a disagreement, I think, over the result of the women's match at All In. And I'm kind of curious on your thoughts, because I remember, I don't know if this will be the same for you, but I remember staying up and seeing Paige when she first came into WWE and beating AJ for that title. And like, for me, like, that was massive. I mean, being someone from the UK and seeing that a British girl coming in and winning that, and then for her to kind of go through everything that she's gone through and have that moment at Wembley, I think even though she's probably not at the level that she necessarily was at because of the injuries and stuff that she's had, I thought that it was amazing that they gave her that moment, regardless of kind of what happens from there. But there was some kind of feeling that maybe she didn't deserve it, or maybe there were other people that could have done more with it. What was kind of your thoughts on that decision to give that to her?
I think a lot of people was a little bit harsh. Like, I think I think because I'm a wrestler and I just kind of put myself in her perspective for a sec. Like, could you imagine WWE doctors telling you that you would never wrestle again? And then, you stuck around anyway, and then you just got off to AEW because you were told that you were able to do it. Like, she obviously loves to wrestle. So I think getting told that, you're never going to wrestle again, and then in front of the biggest wrestling crowd that wrestling's ever produced, you're gifted a champion. Like, that's very special for her, and I love that they did that for her because that's a little moment for her for the rest of her life. But I do also see what other. But I'm thinking the same. Like, Tony may be Australian, but she came over and she was over here for a good while. And,
Yeah.
she was a mainstay on the indies. She was everywhere. She was an absolute workhorse on the independent scene. So, I think if it would have went to either of them too, people would have said that, in my opinion anyway. But, I don't really know. Like, what did people expecting to put it back on Britain? Yeah, I just don't know what everyone's opinion is different of what wrestling should be.
It definitely
You know
got
what
a
I
huge
mean?
pop in the crowd. Like, I think overall it was definitely like a welcome result for the UK crowd for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's nice that she had that little moment, especially with all of her family there. And after getting told, you're never going to be able to wrestle again. I think as a wrestler, then being able to go on and do that, it's like a a statement sort of thing, isn't it? Imagine how proud she must have felt of herself. Like, quite cool, really.
It,
I always look at things like that.
it was pretty good. I mean, I felt a bit sorry. I imagine Jamie would have wrestled if she'd have been fit, right?
100%, yeah.
And I think she'd have
Yeah.
either I think she'd have beat Tony Storm for the title back before everything went tits up. To quote Tony, what do you make of actually? We've got you. What do you make of Tony going and this new character, right? Which is this thespian theatrical. It's so different and it's brilliant. Is there anything? Is there anything you would try, or do you have any ideas of gimmicks or characters? See if you were to go across the pond to try something a bit different, because it's ballsy, right? Because if it goes wrong, you know what social media is like. People are going to be blah blah blah. That's shit.
Especially on a big platform like that.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's why I said to you before, mindset and everything. Like, there's a lot of shit that comes with doing this, especially when you want to work for companies like WWE and AEW, where you're constantly in on a light, no matter what you do on them shows. Like, people will, like what we said earlier, people will find something bad to say.
Of
Like,
course.
no matter. That is very ballsy of it to do. I don't think I'd be able to pull that gimmick off. Like, no, not a dog's chance. Could you imagine Scouse old me trying something like that?
Watch the
Like,
shoe. What?
yeah, exactly.
Great.
Watch the Stanley.
Here's me two sliders.
She's doing brilliant anyway. How actually you mentioned that you can't please some of the people all of the time. Have you had any bad experiences or anything terrible with social media? Have you got away with it? Because some people seem to get pelters out there, and it's not nice.
No, like, so like, I'm gonna go back to when I was 17, 18ish, maybe 19. I was with an ex who was in wrestling, and because like I said to you, I'm very outspoken and I will say my mind sometimes. He decided to use my platform to say one of his views,
Right.
and instantly I said to him, like, because it was like he didn't tell me what he was going to post. He was just like, "Can I post this?" Not word for word what he was going to post. And it was when I was on a run with Defiant, and I was like, because I was like, it'll fit in with your character perfect. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. But I didn't know what he was going to write. I just knew he was going to write something character based. Because he came up with quite a few, move names and stuff for me moves and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And it couldn't have been any more out of line with what my views were at the time. So I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck everything that you stand for. I'll never, let because I think being gullible and being 18 and 19 and letting someone take advantage of you in that way is like the people pleaser in me was like, yeah, of course you can, but I didn't realize it was gonna like offend or disagree with certain people, certain, certain agendas, like things like there's so much to take into consideration now when you can go online and you talk about absolutely anything. You know what I mean? Like if I know 110% I believe in what I am putting out there, then I'll always back it up. I won't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like if I stand firm on that, then I stand firm on that. But there's some things that I'm like, oh no, that's not my views, and that kind of changed a lot for me. Like, because I was like at a point where I was doing really well, and then all the people start seeing you in a different light, and like even sometimes things that you don't necessarily post, but if you're friends with someone that has posted something like that, or you're friends with someone that has done something negative in the view of social media, you will instantly get shamed with them. So it's just like, this is why people say, watch the circle. You keep just block. There's so much accountability to everything these days, and it's because some people do sit at home with absolutely fuck all to do, looking for a fault in people's lives because, like I just said, they have nothing else to do. So everyone has to be fucking careful these days, no matter what you're writing. Let's be real.
Lizzy's got an expression which is "leave it in the drafts." And,
Love that.
Never has a more truer expression.
I love that my drafts are full.
Leave it.
No, because sometimes it's like, even if you think something, like, just keep it to yourself. Like,
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't
not,
have to be out there.
yeah, not
It's like
everything needs to be said, right?
100%. I think younger me needed to wear that rather than get older and figure that shit out, But that's why it's so good that we have people that will go online and say this stuff, because there's not there's a whole fucking, let's get real for a minute. There's a whole generation of people that will be fucking horrible to anyone online that they find. So it is all about, if you don't have anything nice to say, fuck off. There's always someone fighting a battle that you know absolutely nothing about. And if you're not educated enough to know something about a certain topic, then don't discuss it.
I think
Never say
honestly,
that.
like, there's a lot of that going on, but in everyone's defense, not just wrestlers or anything like that, but like those same people that are like talking shit online and like writing stupid comments or like very hurtful words, they're the same people who, if they see you somewhere, they're gonna ask you for a picture, they're gonna ask you for an autograph, they're gonna ask you for all that. So it's really just when they're behind the screen, it's not in person.
100%. The keyboard warrior term is real. Real.
Absolutely.
Lizzy,
We've all seen it.
before you leave us, is there any upcoming shows you want to try and plug, and we'll chop it up and get it out there?
Yeah,
Tell us when.
when will this go out? Just so I don't advertise the show I've already
I'm gonna try and get it out for the weekend.
Okay, so we've got,
Vinny, did you hear that? This weekend. Cheers, pal.
Vinny's our producer, and like Jack stalks him to, push these out. So this episode is gonna get priority. Vinny, please.
I'll call Frank if I have to.
I love that. So I've got me session off at the weekend, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be class. Next weekend, I have a real busy one. It's the GCW weekend there, coming over with TNT. So I have a show on the Friday up in Scotland, and then I'm going to come home, wrestle for Project X, then travel to Hull, wrestle for NGW, and then Sunday I'm going to wrestle for Silence 40. So next weekend's my busiest one of the month. But, mentality giants, brothers.
Absolutely. You're going to go 4 for 4, 3 for 3 next weekend, and you're going to
3 for 3,
batter
love that.
the session off for Progress on Saturday. Lizzy, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you all for having me on. It's been boss. I've actually had the belt of time.
We'll bring you back another
Cheers,
time.
Lizzy.
Thank you.
Cheers, Lizzy.
Awesome to meet you.